So in the previous videos, we saw how to download VirtualBox as well as virtual machines like Kali Linux as well as Windows 10. We also taught you how to configure these virtual machines to talk to each other through network. As you can see in here, these two boxes have the same internal network. We also taught you how to download Sysmon with the correct configuration file as well as Splunk. You can see in here there are two machines running side by side. So now let's switch on to Kali Linux. And now for the Kali Linux VM, we have the IP address 192.168.20.10. We have the IP address of 192.168.20.12. Now let's ping the Kali VM to check whether the two machines are connected in the same network. As you can see in here, the two machines are connected in the same network. Now in our Kali machine, let's use Nmap to scan Windows machine for open port. As you can see from the results, there are several ports which are being, but now the main thing is we have RDP which is being opened. Now let's create a payload using MSF Venom. The payload I'm using is Windows x64 interpreter reverse TCP. And for the L host, I'm choosing my Kali Linux VM's IP. And for the L port, I'm using the default L port for MSF Venom. The file type is exe and output file is resume1.pf.exe. Now that our payload is ready, now let's go to Meterpreter using MSF console. Now let's use multi-handler to listen in for the port that we have configured on the payload. Once you use multi-handler, it will automatically use the generic payload. And when you type options, you will see that you are using generic payload, and as well as the L host is set to none. So we need to change that. For that, you need to set our payload to what we have configured on the payload that we have created earlier, and then set L host to our Kali Linux VM. After that, type option. Now the payload will be set to our payload that we have created earlier on the machine, and the L host is set to our Kali Linux VM. Now in our Kali machine, let's start a server by typing python 3-m http.server and the port. Now type exploit, it will automatically start listening. Now in your Windows VM, go to that exact IP of your Kali Linux VM and that exact port and download that file. Before that, you also need to turn off the real-time threat protection in Windows security. Make sure you do this first. Now double click on the download application. Just click run. Now onto our Kali VM. A Meterpreter session is opened. Now just type shell to create a shell. When you type ipconfig, and you will see that we have the IP of 192.16.20.12, which is the IP of our Windows VM. Before we move on to Splunk to view the telemetry, we need to configure Splunk input configurations to ingest Sysmon logs. As you can see in here, I have successfully configured the inputs.conf file to ingest Sysmon logs and choose index equal to endpoint. And open Splunk and go to settings and indexes. Create new index, type endpoint and save. Now we have successfully created an endpoint as an index. Now go to search and reporting app in Splunk and type index equal to endpoint and click on search. Now as you can see, there are a lot of events which are generated from the Sysmon logs. That is it by creating a small basic SOC lab.